your biggest deal ever at a time when your rivals have kind of been languishing, trying to even get deals done. And when they do, it's kind of in the single-digit billions. So why this size of deal and why this one now?
Yeah, well, thank you so much, first of all, Dani, for having me. It's a very exciting day, a very exciting transaction for Thoma Bravo. And look, we don't think so much about, the size of the deal. We think a lot more about the fundamentals and what we can do with the company. This company, Dayforce, is an incredibly special company. We have followed it. I met the founder, who's still the CEO of the company, before he even merged his company into Ceridian in 2012. And so we've tracked this company for a very long time. It's a very unique company in a very important space. It's got product leadership in a big market. And so we've followed this. This deal has been in the works for a long time with our firm. And it has all the characteristics and attributes that we look for in Thoma Bravo in terms of the quality of the revenue, in terms of the product leadership that it has, in terms of its AI roadmap, great management team. And so we're just really excited to be able to have this opportunity.
Holden, you've been following this company for a while, but a lot of folks have had their eyes on human capital management companies. Just earlier this year, Paychex, for example, acquired Paycor. A lot of public companies getting bought up in human capital management. What are you seeing and what are your peers seeing that public markets are not?
Well, that's an interesting question. So Dayforce really fits our profile very well because of its revenue quality characteristics. So, just to go back for the history for a minute, because it's important to realize how unique this company is. When David Ossip founded this company, he coded an original product, and his thesis was, core HR systems and then payroll systems and workforce management systems were all separate systems, separate databases, separate architecture. And David came with a very innovative thought: is why shouldn't all that exist in one database, in one system? It provides a lot more customer value, one basically end-to-end unified platform in the employee lifecycle. So he came in and built a product that does all of that, everything from recruiting, performance management, to if I'm an hourly worker, I clock in and I know in real time how much money I've earned, and if I need to get paid, I can get paid immediately. They do the tax withholding for you. So it's a really unique, that value proposition that he built the company on is still unique in this big growing market today. And so, look, and this company has been probably in the 7th or 8th inning of a services to software transformation.
Yeah.
And so what we're really looking to do is just accelerate what they're already doing as a public company in a private context. And just to answer maybe the last part of your question, this company is having a historic year. Right. So a couple weeks ago, they announced their earnings. They 40% year-over-year bookings growth for the first half of the year. Recurring revenue is re-accelerating, which is kind of unusual in enterprise software right now. And the market kind of yawned. And we think there's a big disconnect and a big opportunity to basically continue on the path that the company's on, but accelerating it in a private context.
To be fair, analysts hadn't yawned. There's only one sell rating, and they'd liked the earnings in many ways because, as you mentioned, David, who set up this business 30 years ago, has been able to take on the new iteration that is generative AI. And I'm really interested, therefore, Holden, as to how much generative AI can add value at this moment. Is that already baked in? Because we're all questioning valuations of generative AI-related companies right now. Yeah.
So generative AI is a huge part of our investment thesis here, as it is for most of our software companies. But we think, just taking a step back in this human capital management space, every company in the world right now is thinking about how to maybe reorganize themselves, how to infuse AI into their organization, maybe how to change their organizational structure and hierarchies to account for AI. What kind of skills are needed, and how much do they need to pay for those skills? These are all people problems. And so we think this space of general human capital management is a great opportunity for AI, for those companies that have data, they know how to protect the data, that have customer relationships. And so we think it's a huge opportunity. They have a really ambitious AI roadmap. They're already selling some AI SKUs today, but there's a really ambitious roadmap for next year to roll out a bunch of AI agents. And we think we can just help them accelerate that path to basically an agentic AI human capital management software company.
Holden, just on that point, we would love to get your views on an MIT-related study that seems to have gotten this market maybe a little bit worked up. The study that 95% of companies who took on generative AI pilots, 95% of them saw a zero return on investment. Given your work with these types of companies and incorporating generative AI, 95%, does that number seem right to you?
Look, well, I would tell you, we focus, that's really interesting, by the way, because I do think there has been an issue with people really trying to measure ROI on their projects. Everybody's using it. Everybody knows it's the next big thing. But is ROI really being, measured in it? And are people giving customers things that they may not want? And so we've taken a very measured approach. We think there's a real benefit to these SaaS companies that have incumbency and they have data advantages. But I think at that enterprise level, look, obviously there's been a lot of, the easy ones have been the call center and product development. Those have been the two biggest areas for AI, I'd say cases that have generated really positive ROI. But I think there's also a lot of sprawl too. There's a lot of tools being sold that maybe aren't being totally utilized. You see that in some of these earnings announcements. So I think it's just important to be careful to ensure that there's connectivity between the customer's roadmap and your roadmap. So we think it's really important, but we are taking a little bit more measured approach because if you sell something to a customer that they're not using or don't need, that creates problems down the road.